You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
The AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Markeia McCarty and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's WWE SmackDown After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's WWE SmackDown After Show.
Let's absorb this. Because this is probably the last time we're going to hear this music.
Soak it up while we still can.
Oh my... It is absolute proof that no one is safe with the budget cuts. And behavior cuts. Reasons to cut budgets.
The man wanted to leave. There was no secret. The man wanted to go. The matter of how and why he was let go this time around, well, it's pretty interesting.
Well, it's a witch hunt at this point. That's what I think it is. With all these budget cuts, nobody can step out of line for anything, for any reason.
No.
I am so fired up that they let him go. I don't know what to do.
Well, we'll talk about, but we got to introduce ourselves first. Hey, it's SmackDown AfterBuzz, everybody. I'm Christian Rosenberg. I got a nice little panel joining me this evening. Corey is visiting family in Las Vegas, so once again filling in for her from Main Event, the lovely, the vivacious, the intelligent, the gorgeous Miss Markeia McCarty.
Hey guys, glad to be here. So the last time I'll be doing SmackDown with you guys. So
yeah, well, you know, you always come back eventually. If we ever need fill-ins, you're always welcome here. And this weekend is actually Mr. Rome Moore's birthday, so he's taking the week off. So wish him a happy birthday at Rome the Ruler on Twitter. And filling in for Rome,
happy birthday.
Thanks, Paris Hilton. Filling in for Rome, I think that was a soundbite of Paris Hilton, right?
Happy birthday.
Is that what it is, Phil? Okay, he said yes.
Crickets.
All right. Anyway, filling in for Rome, the beautiful, the vivacious, the intelligent, the gorgeous, Hobo.
All of those things are 100% true. They're true. I don't know what you were trying to say in there, Phil, but I imagine it was a compliment, and a well-earned compliment. I groom myself heavily before every show. And yeah. You're very lucky to have me. You're very lucky.
I am very lucky to have you. You're angry at me from your from my Pixel Pro Wrestling, because I own that championship.
I'm doing a little better today though, because you lost this week, or your team lost rather. Well, so happy to hear that.
Well, we'll plug that at the end of the show. Yeah. Let's get back to Del Rio here. Yeah. Four-time champion, Money in the Bank winner, Rumble winner. Guy's done it all, and allegedly. Obviously, we don't know all the facts. It's allegedly got in some altercation in the back after the SmackDown main event tapings with the guy, perhaps like the one in charge of their social media area, or one of the workers for their social media area.
Which explains the tweet.
Slapped him. Allegedly, Del Rio slapped the guy. He got fired. And then WWE's Twitter tweeted out today, and I quote, "At Viva Del Rio is responsible for his own actions. If you're angry at anyone, be angry at Alberto. There's no excuse for a pro athlete not to conduct themselves in a professional manner."
That's pretty personal, isn't it? It seems like they sort of crossed a line.
That's not a best of luck in your future endeavors type thing.
I mean, there have been professional football players recently who have done things way worse than that, who are able to keep their jobs.
Yes, that only got suspended for, what was it, 2 games?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Garbage.
That's a whole different discussion for a whole nother day.
That is.
But, yeah, Del Rio, here's the thing, though. When WWE tweets that, to me, it's just like, can this be some, like the slim chance, can this actually be an angle and he's not really released?
I was wondering that when I first heard it, especially hearing about sort of how it happened. It's hard to know.
I don't know.
Unless he just pops up at SummerSlam. We have to treat it as legit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because there's no build-up for it at all. If it was something like if it was Dean Ambrose has been released because he wigged out on somebody at the catering, you know, I could be like, oh, there's no way.
Well, no way the
he's gonna
authority
show back
is
up.
getting back at him, blah,
yeah,
blah, blah.
but for this came out of nowhere. I mean, that along with the budget cuts, I seriously think it's just they're just looking to save money in any possible way, and they just cut one of their really great wrestlers. You could plug him practically anywhere, and I cannot believe that they did that, especially right before they go to Laredo, Texas.
Yeah.
They needed him to be there.
Well, he was in Laredo because that's where main event was, because they filmed the main event, and so he had like this big pop moment on main event this week where like cheering for him, and then apparently backstage after that, bye.
It's weird. It kind of reminds me of how Daniel Bryan got released when he first got released, and then immediately came back. And whether or not that was actually a release is, I don't know. Has that ever been solidified?
No.
Do we know for sure?
No.
So either this is something or it's nothing. And until we see him again, we just have to assume it's something.
Yeah, and then along with Del Rio, Mark Yeaton, guy not many people actually know his name, but for over 30 years he was their timekeeper. He's a guy whenever they're around the area, the ring announcer and the bell, he's the guy who you see running around getting out of the way, the guy with the mustache. And famously known, he's the guy who always tosses Steve Austin the beers.
That guy's got a hell of a name.
Mark Yeaton.
Mark Yeaton.
Fired. After 30 plus years. Gone.
That's proof nobody's safe.
No one is safe.
No, but
this guy has been there on TV my entire life.
Yeah, and you know things are in trouble now if they're gonna get rid of, you know, the old guy that everybody knows that always stands by the cooler, or the elevator operator. Do you know what I mean? Like with the timekeeper guy. Once that guy's gone, then it's like they're in a lot of trouble then. They have to be, because that guy sounds like he's an icon for you.
Well, he's not an icon, but he's just always been there.
A fixture.
He's one of the biggest moving parts in this whole thing. Most of the cuts that are happening backstage where you don't know that they're happening at all. But this guy happened to be sort of a backstage entity that was on TV. So you know him. You've seen him. You know him to a degree. And the fact that we lost him, you feel this more than most. 30 years. Yeah.
It's like, it almost stings more than Del Rio, but obviously Del Rio's just such a big spotlight on him, being that he was, he is a main eventer. And who knows whenever his contract was scheduled to end or things like that, but needless to say, it was sudden, complete out of the blue. And with WWE, it's not like some fake Twitter. And they haven't gone on record saying their Twitter was hacked.
Not yet.
Not yet. So, it's crazy, and then it leaves us sitting there wondering, like, all right, who's gonna be next?
Yeah, nobody's safe.
Yeah,
nobody is. It's like they'll do anything to. They're stepping over dollars to save change, and it's ridiculous. And I don't want to know who's going to be cut next.
I know that Del Rio was pulling a big paycheck. For sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, of course.
And famously, he does not need the money. He is Mexican wrestling royalty. He can go back to Mexico and live like a king for the rest of his life if he wants to. Never have to work another day. So, I mean, he doesn't need the money. Mm-hmm. But it was definitely good seeing him work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, well, we'll have to wait and see what happens with him in the future with any news with him. Now going forward, though, because we do have to go forward, because we do have a SmackDown to talk about as well.
Mm-hmm.
True.
As we mentioned earlier, hailing from Laredo, Texas. And SmackDown starts with Dean Ambrose, who comes in the ring, as we see highlights from Raw, where he distracted Seth Rollins by ripping up the contract and pouring soda and popcorn in his briefcase long enough, and JBL's cowboy hat, distracting him long enough for what people could consider the biggest upset in like a decade, where Heath Slater, in a one-on-one match, beat Seth Rollins.
The '1 contender. I mean,
he's got the money in the bank. He's number one contender whenever he wants to be.
He's a permanent #1 contender.
Yeah. Heath Slater. Guy, when was the last time he won a singles match?
I don't know, but he definitely won with Slater Gator.
Yeah, and then a main event, his team won again. Like, Heath Slater's on a winning streak right now.
It's weird.
Yeah, everything's
like a
coming up.
Universe.
I mean, good for him, but that's just like, where did this come from? So Ambrose talking about how the Authority thought they had a foolproof plan. Thing is, you can't plan for Dean Ambrose. Crowd cheers. And now he's like, I get to choose a stipulation at SummerSlam against my brother Seth Rollins. And we get a list of matches, all of which I thought actually would have been pretty entertaining. We have JBL Cowboy Hat on the Pole match. The Coal Miner's Glove match, that needs to come back.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
A sumo match. Alligator surrounding the ring. The Good Housekeeping match. Do you remember that one?
I don't.
I want that one to happen. I have no idea what it is, but the fact that it's called Good Housekeeping.
That one, that did happen, and I'm trying to remember the details of it. I think it had divas involved.
Can I tell you what I think it is? That they have random pieces of furniture in the ring, and you have to use that to pummel your opponent with.
And I think that's what it was.
Yeah,
honestly.
Good Housekeeping.
Like, you know what it was? I think it was Jarrett and Chyna. I think was the Good Housekeeping match.
Wow.
Someone in the chat roll, please correct me if I'm wrong. And I'll feel like a genius if I'm right, but that sounds right to me. No, he was claiming that, oh, you're a woman, shouldn't be wrestling. And they had this match, and Chyna, I think, beat him.
Of course she would.
Yeah.
She's Chyna.
Yeah. So, yeah, well, that, or I like then also, the loser washes Triple H's car match. Oh, but Seth, you probably already do that.
Right.
So Seth interrupts him, saying, I got to admit what you did on Raw was pretty clever, but get to the point because I want to know what you're gonna challenge. Whatever you're gonna do, I'm gonna beat you. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. I liked his inflammatory shirt. He was wearing an Authority shirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that Authority shirt
It's
too.
kind of cool.
That looked kind of nice. I like the colors.
Yeah. And the chat roll is telling me it was Jarrett and Chyna in the Good Housekeeping match. I'm a genius.
How did you get that right?
I have way
So
too much
obscure.
random knowledge in my head.
Could you see that on the WWE Network
For how much?
$9.99.
I've already decided that our tiebreaker for the SummerSlam pay-per-view is how many times they say $9.99 during the pay-per-view broadcast.
Luckily, we won't be anywhere near shots, or else we'd all die of alcohol poisoning.
Oh, if you were doing if you were taking a shot every time, I'm telling you now, don't, because you will be in the hospital by the end of the first hour.
You'll finish a bottle and a half by yourself.
Oh.
And also we were told in chat roll, Heath Slater's last one-on-one victory on television, or at least maybe on Raw, July 2nd, 2012. Against Doink the Clown.
Wow.
May he rest in peace.
More than 2 years ago.
Over 2 years since his last singles victory on Raw.
Well, this was a good comeback
Yeah.
then. Nicely done, Heath.
He was due, I guess.
I guess.
A couple of years.
2+ years. Anyway, so Dean Ambrose announces, all right, the stipulation that I'm going to have. He's holding that Money in the Bank briefcase. It was like, all right, that's got to be in the line. What are we going to do? Last man standing. I quit. Cage match. Something where Rollins can't escape. Something where you can really get his hands on him. Well, he can't escape. But it's a lumberjack match. And there was no mention of the briefcase being on the line.
Which was the anticipation. When we were sitting in there, I was just like, please, just say whoever wins gets the briefcase. Just say that.
It's somewhat upsetting that that they didn't include that, but I kind of like the stipulation of the lumberjack match because it truly goes to the character of Dean Ambrose. You think he's gonna go in one direction and it'll go a completely different direction. There is as much punishment for Rollins as there is Ambrose in this match, with nothing but their enemies surrounding the ring. He truly does not care. He does not care about anything. He's a wild man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing of it is that he's trying to stick it to Rollins in any way that he possibly can. Definitely. He wants vengeance, and vengeance will be his. I think that he should have said that about the briefcase, because that is such a way to turn the screws. Like, not only does he beat him and, kind of wag a finger at the Authority, but he gets the Money in the Bank briefcase. That would have been so perfect.
Well, that's implying that Ambrose would win.
Of course he would.
Okay. Well, we can talk next week. Next week are the predictions, and we'll see with all that. We got another week of Raw and SmackDown and main event and NXT and Superstars. Total Divas isn't back yet, but we got enough shows over the next week where we can solidify.
I hope Ambrose addresses why he didn't put that up for grabs.
Maybe, hopefully he will on Raw.
I hope so.
Yeah, I hope.
But
Nice thought.
And then Rollins mentions that Authority's not here tonight, but I get to choose per them your opponent for tonight. And Dean Ambrose, you will go one-on-one tonight against Randy Orton. So we have that as our main event later on. First match of the night, Ryback in tag team action against maybe a newly formed team? Question mark.
World's biggest
biggest, strongest, largest, hungriest team of Mark Henry and The Big Show. A total combined weight of probably between 800 and 900 pounds.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty close to that.
And the match started with Curtis Axel and Mark Henry in the ring. And again, and I've said this I don't know how many times, I feel like I'm the only Curtis Axel supporter here at AfterBuzz.
No, Gabby is also.
Oh, is she? Okay,
Yeah.
I got someone on my team. But watching Curtis Axel just kind of do like the run and dodge idea for Mark Henry, it's just like, bro, that's not going to work. That's not going to work for you, dude.
He was just making fun of him.
Yeah.
You don't make light of a guy who can crack you in half.
Yeah, don't make a big guy angry.
Yeah, don't wave a red flag in front of a bull, which is exactly what he did.
Yeah. And this match, it was your typical formula in a match. Ryback and Axel kind of had Henry down for a little bit, working the leg, trying to slow him down, keep him off his feet.
Looking somewhat cohesive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eventually, he gets that hot tag to Big Show, who then, cleans house. And then we have a World's Strongest Slam and a Choke Slam, nearly in stereo.
Nearly on top of one another.
Well, that was the thing. That was also what Big Show was impressed. Big Show lifts Axel up. Henry slams Ryback down. But he's like right where Axel was going to go. So Big Show literally just turns his body while still holding the guy up in the air and choke slams him down and gets the win.
He should have done it on top of him.
That would hurt.
That would have been fantastic.
Well,
they know how to take care of themselves. They would have been fine.
Well, it's kind of hard to take care of yourself in something like that.
Not like that.
Yeah.
Because he would have thrown him on top of Henry. Henry couldn't get up that fast. He's a big man.
Yeah.
He's got to work to his feet after delivering that World's Strongest Slam. He would have just landed him right on top of
Yeah,
him.
and Mark Henry's no spring chicken anymore. I mean, he's been around for a little bit.
Yep.
So he needs a minute to get up after that slam, to be fair.
Because he puts all this weight into it. All that force and energy is downward. To bring yourself back up off that, it takes a little time.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with Big Show and Mark Henry. Perhaps maybe a future tag team.
We're tonight.
Well, they're tonight. Maybe they'll be in future weeks because they got nothing else going for them. Maybe.
That's true. Haven't seen either.
They had them beat a legit tag team. They have a team name. They have their own music. That makes them legit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
All
they can be legit, but not be great.
There are tag teams that have to be at the bottom of the card.
I mean, three-man band was a thing forever.
They were a legit tag team.
Well, they were entertaining, and they had their whenever they went to a different country, they were the Union Jack. That was great. Well, here I guess they're like a monument of muscle. Was it Mark Henry and Big E? But I'm kind of tired of the Ryback thing. I'm ready for that to just be separated.
I think the crowd is too. I think the crowd's ready actually to cheer for Ryback again. Oddly enough.
Remains to be seen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows? Dolph Ziggler backstage, surrounded by a bunch of divas and Adam Rose.
He likes to stick his lolly into things and
Apparently.
situations.
Well played, Hobo.
I'm just saying.
Well played. And they're looking at a screen, and Dolph's kind of making fun of Rollins because they're looking at the highlights from, once again, Heath Slater defeating Seth Rollins on Monday Night Raw. Rollins interrupts it, and he asked Dolph a riddle. It kind of went a little quick. I didn't get what the riddle was, but the way he was saying it, you just knew Dolph was like, well, it sounds like you're talking about you. Yeah. And that's exactly what he said. And then Dolph also mentioned he didn't recognize Seth Rollins was with everyone because, you know, right now you look like what Catwoman would look like if she did CrossFit, based on his outfit and the hair and
superhero gear.
Yes,
which I think is fantastic. I
like
adore it.
Well, she loves the cosplay and the superheroes and all that stuff. So she's a fan.
Yeah, it's kind of Hawkeye-ish for me.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Whatever.
Yeah. He just, to me, is just like, all right, he's got a tight shirt on that he takes off before he wrestles anyway.
He stole El Ridiculoso's gear. That's what I see.
A local wrestler.
Ridiculoso.
Google El Ridiculoso or YouTube El Ridiculoso. He's a Southern California independent wrestler out here.
Tremendously entertaining.
Pretty entertaining guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And now he owes us drinks.
Yes, he does.
But so, needless to say, Rollins eventually then, he's like challenging Ziggler. All right, we're going to wrestle tonight. Cool. Rollins, Ziggler, always entertaining. We'll look forward to that in a little bit. Sin Cara in the ring taking on Damian Sandow, a.k.a. U.S. Border Patrol Ranger Damian Sandow. Hobo, you look confused.
I guess I didn't even write it down.
Well, I timed it. It was a minute and 51 seconds.
And not a surprise at all how this went. I thought Sandow was pretty entertaining, you know.
Called Sin Cara Mr. Without Face.
Yes, and this masked illegal.
Yeah.
I was like, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah. That happened in Laredo, Texas. He did that.
Yes.
That's how you get heat in Laredo, Texas. Call yourself Ice. La Migra.
Sin Cara won with the Swanton. Do we need anything else with this match?
No.
All right.
There was a promo. The promo was pretty good.
Yeah.
Right, as the Border Patrol guy.
Right.
Yeah. I hated the hashtag that they had for the match.
Oh,
what was it? I don't remember.
It was hashtag 999.
Is that really what the hashtag was during that match?
Hashtag for this fight.
Well, of course it was, because they didn't want to talk about the actual match.
that's horrible.
God. So bad.
999 is going to trend on Raw and SummerSlam during a good match. And we're going to be like, oh, why?
Somebody's just going to eventually say it's the mark of the beast and be done with it.
Thankfully, though, I now know how much the network is.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure of the price
I didn't know
before,
what it was.
You know?
I didn't know what it was before that.
What network are we talking about?
Good question.
Yeah.
The hype video for John Cena and Brock Lesnar, which we've seen on Raw and main event this week, same one on here. It's like a 6-7 minute hype video for these guys, which, I mean, they got to build that matchup. And with Lesnar and Cena both not on this past week's Raw, that kind of important thing to do.
Right. You know, I thought it was interesting. Mick Foley said that there was something about Lesnar's promo that just he couldn't get off of his mind. And I sort of agree with that. There's a realness to his words. It's not a good promo. It's not, you know, something you're going to remember for the rest of your life. But there's a realness to the quality of Brock Lesnar's words that you don't generally hear. He sounds like he means everything he says.
Yeah.
So you have to fear a little bit for John Cena.
Would anyone not be afraid of Brock Lesnar?
Maybe people that want to die.
Perhaps.
The Predator. He's like 7 feet tall. And he's got weapons.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know, when this feud ends with Lesnar and Cena, Lesnar's going to need someone else.
Lesnar versus Predator.
Lesnar versus Predator.
Lesnar versus Predator versus Alien.
With the Terminator as a special referee.
Yes.
Let's make it happen, everybody.
Lesnar and Terminator versus Predator and Alien.
Yes.
Hashtag that.
Yes.
I'm sorry, the chat roll is just doing hashtag 999 this whole time. Chat roll is angering Hobo.
I just hate the 999 thing. You know, it's I so like NXT. I cover NXT every week, and I don't have to deal with any of this BS. I love it.
One thing that we didn't say, but this might kind of infuriate you some. I loved.
That's good.
I loved how when Ambrose and Rollins were talking to each other, It's like they were obviously told, "Hey, plug the network whenever you can."
Oh, of course.
When you can plug it.
That was almost the Super Troopers meow.
They had a
close.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm sure they had a side bet going.
Yes.
And as soon as they got to the back, it's like, you owe me $5.
Yep. Who said it more? Who said it more?
And then Rollins sticks his head back out and goes, $9.99.
Oh, and in the chat, they're right. We forgot about adding RoboCop in that battle royal.
Oh my God! Of course. RoboCop. It's RoboCop.
All right, Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins. Now we actually have a real match because we like if you think about it, that was the main event in hour 1. And we had Ryback versus Markeia and Big Show, which was quick, and Sin Cara versus Sandow, which was 1:51 seconds.
All of these were short. Everything was short tonight. Not the strongest show tonight.
No, but Sin Cara was great. Poetry in motion. Just would have liked maybe double the time of that.
Yeah, he's smooth. He definitely is. I mean, he's not the Sin Cara that we're used to. That's hit and miss. He's been hitting. He's been spot on as of late.
He's the Sin Cara they wanted from the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah. Ziggler versus Rollins. Now, you want to talk about fast pace and high energy from start to finish. This match, right, with like 3 amigos in the first few minutes by Seth Rollins. Found it kind of odd that he performed the 3 amigos in Texas, and there's no Eddie chants. Well, we didn't hear any.
Well, I don't think the crowd wanted to chant for Eddie for Rollins. I think Rollins was trying to mock everyone, but he didn't make it particularly clear. Like if he was just to stand up and look at everybody and just do the shoulders, he would have got a cascade of boos down on him like he's never heard before.
Real cool sequence here where Ziggler was like running full speed off the ropes to go for the Famouser, and Rollins just like push him and then just immediately like full speed the other way, and Ziggler flew over the top rope and crashed on the floor really hard.
This was a hard-hitting match, very frenzied from Rollins as well as Ziggler. I think Ziggler had something to prove tonight against the Money in the Bank carrier.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he was trying to curtail future wrestlers making fun of Heath Slater, taking him down. So what's the best way to do that? A punishment match.
Well, I mean,
ragdoll Dolph for like the later third of the match.
Exactly. I mean, there's no shame losing to the best of the best in Heath Slater. There's no shame in that.
I think he feels that there's shame. He took the eye off the ball. He's Mr. Money in the Bank. He's set himself to win the biggest title of all, biggest title in the industry, and he lost to Heath Slater because he just took his eye off the ball. That lacks professionalism, and he knows it. He's trying to send a message to the rest of the roster. I'm the guy on top. Everything rolls downhill from here.
Yeah.
Perhaps. I'm now starting the campaign trail, though, for Heath Slater for 2015 Money in the Bank winner. I'm just starting it now.
Baby!
Yeah, give it to him. Give it him the next year. Ziggler dodges Seth Rollins' springboard knee and then hits the Famouser. And then all of a sudden, Rollins eventually regained control, whipped Ziggler into the post, banging his shoulder.
Ooh.
And then Rollins just took control, swinging him into the barricades, the stairs, just annihilated him, and then throws him in the ring. To me, I'm thinking, he's going to set him up for the curb stomp. Ziggler might counter, maybe a couple other quick things here or there. But no, he just beat him up so bad that he just took his time, taunted him, hit the curb stomp, and Rollins with an impressive win.
Message sent.
Yes.
Absolutely. Nobody else is going to be joking about that backstage.
No.
Renee Young backstage with Randy Orton, asking him, hey, you get the opportunity at Roman Reigns, but tonight you have Dean Ambrose. Even though that wasn't really a question. That was pretty much kind of what she said. Orton's talking about there's no telling what he's going to do, and Ambrose will find out firsthand who the true sadistic superstar is. And that was that.
Yeah, it's like, okay. Very informational. Thank you.
Pretty straightforward. I mean, Randy Orton's not a guy you look forward to on the mic. And, and tonight, he didn't surprise anybody. Yep.
He looks so athletic. Good for him. I needed to say something nice. I needed to say something
Well, he's a
nice.
fantastic wrestler.
No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
compliment him later.
He's an
Yeah,
amazing
okay.
wrestler.
He needs a mouthpiece. Like, more than anything, the man needs a mouthpiece.
He does. This is a time where he really is missing flair.
Yeah,
Evolution
well,
flair, not today's flair.
Not inebriated flair.
No.
Open up Bray Wyatt's eye flare.
Well, that's okay. If you're gonna get punched by anybody in the eye,
It should be
might
Ric
as well
Flair.
be Ric Flair.
Might as well. Divas action. Natalya one-on-one with the #1 contender for the Divas title, Paige. And this match, again, kept up the fast pace. And I was just hoping for, even if it was only like 3 more minutes.
Oh,
because
man.
this was just intense. Natalya locks the sharpshooter in within 30 seconds of the match. Like, we're like, Paige is going to tap out in a minute.
and then what? Like, she couldn't lose. She's got a match like at SummerSlam. She can't possibly lose.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, what's happening here? And she was literally pulling the apron, or not the apron, like the ring skirt.
Yes.
Yeah.
To, like, not the ropes, and like the whole thing is coming in the ring.
She looked
Yeah, no,
desperate.
She grabbed the ropes first, but then like Natalya still dragged
Yeah,
her.
nope.
Still dragged her.
I would have so loved to see like 15 minutes of this.
I know,
I'm used to it on
right?
NXT, baby. It's so
Yeah.
these two can go. Let the girls go. I don't care. Let the Divas division be damned. Let these women wrestle.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Yes. This is a match that I've actually been looking forward to. I mean, you've seen Paige and AJ, you've seen Paige and Naomi. This is like main event.
Yep.
And that one I didn't completely agree with because there was still that Cameron rivalry that's going on. So there was a distraction.
Which I think they're kind of
Yeah.
trying to make us forget about because we haven't seen or heard anything in a couple weeks now.
Yeah, but it's like I've been looking forward to Paige and Natalya because, you know, these girls can throw that stuff around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I was disappointed in this one. I was
Well, I mean,
disappointed.
I'm not disappointed in the match in itself because the match I thought was great. It's just it could have been longer.
Right. It was an appetizer when we were looking
Yes.
for a main course.
Yes. It was one of those where you went to the fancy restaurant, you ordered something, you can't wait for it, and it shows up and it's only like just half the size of what you thought it would be.
I ordered the steak.
Yes, this is the steak. It's 4 ounces. No, I wanted like the 12. No, this is what we serve here.
Right.
This is what we serve on SmackDown for an awesome Divas match with no build. You get a 4-ounce steak instead of the 12.
Oh good.
Paige Turner on the outside of the ring, but then once I get back in, Natalya tried to roll her up and then got kicked out by Paige into a super kick and then locked in the PTO, and Paige gets the win. I love that submission hold.
Scorpion crosslock.
Yeah,
Brutal.
she calls it the Paige tap out to her
Right.
PTO,
I mean,
but it's beautiful.
Even on a more muscular opponent like
Yeah.
Natalie, she's able to lock it in fully and get all of the weight pulled back, and you just see it and you can hear cartilage snap and tendon stretch. You just hear it. Oh.
Yes, it's magnificent.
Yeah. By the way, Markeia, the chat roll saying your comment about Randy Orton, how he looked athletic, is the best compliment Orton's gotten in the past 4 years, according to the chat roll.
That's the least you could say about him. He's athletic.
He is very athletic.
Yeah.
Big E versus Rusev. So speaking of storylines that have kind of vanished, Big E shows up in his regular music, doing his regular pose, cheering for the fans. Where was Kofi and Xavier Woods?
They cannot drop this storyline. They cannot do that.
Hey.
They need to follow this through.
You're the most animated about this, at least amongst us. I wonder how many more people feel as strongly as you do about this.
And it's just it's such a good idea. They set up this really great premise where it's like, oh, we've been pandering, you know, we're sick of like waiting for our turn, and then that's kind of a thing that's happened with other wrestlers. I mean, when you think of like CM Punk and why he ended up leaving, it's like this is a strong message. That's something that's relatable. And then you have those 3 guys. You have Kofi and Big E. They were working as a tag team together, like synchronized, and it looked great. I mean, you have that brawler, you have that high flyer. You don't have that with the other tag teams. The closest thing is Usos, who are amazing. And
Who
then
are
you
both
have,
pretty much the same. Well, they're the same guy.
yeah. But
I
then
think
you,
genetically, even. Yeah.
Yes, I mean they're like literally the same guy.
well, then you have Xavier Woods, and he's got this possible, recruiting message going on. It's like you can have another strong trio, and then we have this match where no Kofi, no Xavier, and
No
then Big
point.
E's just
No, exactly.
points.
Like, again, we were just talking about, hey, the Divas match could have 3 or 4 minutes because you did not need this match on it. Because there was no swagger. There was no Zeb. You didn't build up the flag match. All this did was make Big E look worse.
Yes.
Don't get me wrong. I am a big fan of the two of them working together.
Yes.
I think I love both of their builds and their similar style with completely different moves. And I love seeing them clash in the ring.
Their last pay-per-view match was very solid.
It was great.
Yeah.
But this just felt sort of forced.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, we're having this match again, and it was over before it really even started. It was disappointing.
Yeah, and because to me, the way they were setting it up was Xavier Woods would go on some commentary talking about what you were saying, Markeia, how they're tired of pandering to the crowd, having to take what's theirs. They were doing stare downs with the Usos after some matches. It's like, all right, maybe we're building up whether they're a trio or just turning Woods into a manager of Big E and Kofi. And again, Big E and Kofi, two very talented guys where they're just kind of lost in the shuffle right now. Put them as a team and maybe flip the script, make them heels, feud with the Usos, and then all of a sudden tonight we just have Big E being Big E. It was so weird.
I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait next week and see what happens.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Rusev won. I don't know if we said that.
If you didn't guess that already.
Breaking news.
Rusev Crush.
Rusev Crush.
Rusev Crush.
I mean, a storyline wouldn't be, affected by any kind of budget cuts, would it? Like there isn't like a
it could.
renegotiating cut.
I mean, anything can
Because-
happen. Anything can be done.
It's difficult to gauge what exactly is being affected by budget cuts and what's just not working.
Yeah,
It's hard to
I mean,
tell.
they'll scrap stories once in a blue moon, out of nowhere. I'm trying. There was Santino and Emma. I mean, they just kind of stopped
That
before.
was because Santino.
But no, that was kind of before the whole injury and arrest thing, because he was still wrestling, and then Emma was gone.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
I mean, that's just the most recent one that comes to mind.
Right, but then there are the ones we don't know about.
Oh, of course.
The writers' room at WWE, and I know this from talking to people who work there. It's like a monkey house. It's madness.
Oh, I bet.
So it's hard to say exactly what's going on or what was supposed to happen or what didn't happen that was supposed to. You never know.
Mm-hmm.
What you have is what you get, and that's all you get. And tune in next week.
Yep. Tom Phillips backstage with Chris Jericho. Jericho mentions that he will purge the WWE of the Wyatt plague, and he will grab those buzzards and slam them down his throat. My biggest highlight of this was I didn't realize how lanky Tom Phillips was. I mean, he's a skinny dude.
Yeah, he's really, like I said, I told you, he looks like a groomsman. That kind of
With the
pink
suit.
tie and the grayish black suit, and just what are you doing here?
I know. You could try different hair choices. He just reminds me of like a freshman in high school,
Wow.
where it's just not anything too
No, I
bad,
know,
but
yeah,
it's like they don't know what to do with their hair, so they just kind of buzz it down. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
That's what I did.
Yeah, that's what most guys do. That's what I said, a freshman in high school. So it's like until they grow into themselves and know that they want to put a little, thing that you have going on with your hair, which looks cute for you.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah,
I part mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hobo spends hours and hours in the fountain at the local park getting his hair ready.
They don't like it when I get naked and take a bath, though. They don't. They frown
is
on
that?
this. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
This is it's the state of the union.
No. Oh
They're
well.
just trying to take away all our liberties.
Just trying to hold the
Making 'em
hobo
public.
down.
Yeah, they are.
Hold the hobo down.
It's terrible.
man's holding the hobo down.
That's right.
Why are you laughing? It's true.
Yeah. Show some sincerity.
Yes.
All right.
There you go.
Main event time, Dean Ambrose versus Randy Orton. But before the main event started, they were hyping up on the WWE Network. I get tonight. They were showing kind of a 1 hour, almost like highlight package of WrestleMania. And Phil, are we able to get that photo up here? We're gonna look behind. So this was the photo that they show. So we kind of going from the side. Brock Lesnar versus Undertaker, huge moment because this unbelievable streak ended. Then Rock, Hulk Hogan, and Steve Austin. What a momentous opener for WrestleMania! All three of them in the ring at the same time. That's never happened before. And then Bray Wyatt and John Cena. Awesome match, very emotional match, an incredible WWE title match between John Cena and Bray Wyatt.
Whoa.
Wait. That wasn't the title match, right?
Nope.
No.
No, wait, Dan O'Brien was in the title match.
Yeah, and
Batista.
He was in 2 matches.
And Triple H.
Yeah.
And like Orton
This
was
is
there
really
too.
bad because Batista can't advertise Guardians of the Galaxy right now. This poster does not advertise Dave Batista, therefore it's not advertising Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's true.
Really poor.
And they're advertising Hercules because The Rock's on there.
Oh yeah, that's
Sort
right.
of.
Which came out earlier than
It
Guardians
did.
of the
It
Galaxy.
came out the week before Guardians.
It did.
Yeah.
But then, so yeah, no Dan O'Brien on there, no Batista, no Randy Orton, no Triple H, and Cena has the friggin' titles on. Cena wasn't champion then.
It wasn't even a title.
No.
No.
Just forget
What?
it.
Oh, God. All right, Phil, thank you. You can take it off because I'm getting angry at it now.
Then now forever.
Forever.
Oh, my God.
Without consistency, amen.
Are we supposed to forget that Dan O'Brien won the title?
Yes. I guess.
Yes.
Oh, they're even taking that now. Oh yeah, the Raw recap with Stephanie and the.
Oh, we
Bella
didn't talk
twins.
about that.
We didn't talk about that.
Yeah.
Do we have to?
Well, it was like kind of recap. It was a recap of it.
We don't have
It was
to.
Raw. There's an entire Raw after show.
Yeah. Stephanie's pedigrees, though, did look great.
Okay, yeah, she's great.
Yeah, those look great. All right. Main event, Ambrose and Orton. Ambrose dominating the early going, and then we come back from commercial, and all of a sudden, Ambrose is, like, unconscious.
Sometimes that's how it happens. It's just so quick.
Orton just spending tons of time working the shoulder. And that's the thing that Orton does not get enough credit on, is how methodical he is with the psychology as far as the specific body parts he works on in the ring. He does an amazing, one of the best, if not arguably the best at doing that.
He's a ring technician.
Yeah.
You're never going to take that away from him.
Yeah.
He's absolutely one of the best in the ring. The way he moves is so fluid and so swift. He's one of the best. Absolutely. Cannot say anything wrong with his in-ring abilities.
Nice.
There's a point where Orton has a hold locked on Ambrose, wrenching the shoulder back, and the camera's zooming in on Ambrose, and you hear him scream to Orton, "Why don't you put some pressure on it?" This is why Ambrose is. I'm going out there and saying Ambrose is my favorite superstar today, right now, because of things like that.
Yeah.
It's just like you're gonna show up and your entire body's going to be in a cast, and you're gonna get wheelchaired to the ring and wrestle 20 minutes.
Yes, and he'll still use his head as a battering
It's
ram.
like, is that all you got?
He's the Black Knight from Monty Python.
Oh.
It's just a flesh wound.
It's just a flesh wound. Come back. I'm gonna bite your ankles off.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, yeah.
Ambrose went for a suicide dive as he eventually started making a comeback, cut off by Orton. Then Orton throwing him all around the ring and in the steps, the barricade, similar to what Rollins did to Ziggler earlier in the night.
We're seeing some consistency in the way the Authority wrestles a match.
They have their game plan.
They do.
Yes. Ambrose did eventually come back, hit a suicide dive on him, and then went for the dirty deeds. Rollins came out to distract him. Ambrose knocked him off the apron. Orton went for the RKO, counter into the dirty deeds. Ambrose going to win the match. Holy crap, Ambrose going to pull the upset.
2.
And yoink.
Yeah.
Come on.
Pulled.
Garbage.
Pulled right off of him.
That's the beauty of wrestling. That's the stuff we enjoy. Right there. Rollins pulls off Ambrose. Ref rings the bell for DQ. And Ambrose then started getting the advantage on Rollins. Started taking him down. But Rollins got back to his feet. Clothesline. RKO. And then looked at Rollins. He's like, there he is. Mm-hmm. Have your way with him. Curb stomp. And he ripped the shirt off.
Yep.
Oh, but I forgot the stuff before that. Didn't he go over to the
Oh, and the soda.
commentators. Yeah.
The soda.
That was so rancid. I loved it.
Do you remember the
I have
days,
to be
Hobo,
honest.
when it was beer?
I remember beer.
You remember when it was beer being poured and not soda?
I want a beer right now.
I wish he'd also grabbed some popcorn, and instead of hitting JBL's hat, I wish that he had done the Coke and then put the hat on his head and then had done the curb stomp.
Ride this, cowboy.
That's just not nice to JBL's hat.
Oh.
I'm sure he's got like a million of them.
Well, of course, because every week they get damaged.
It's a gimmick.
Yeah, it's really turning into a gimmick. That's kind of over under. What gets broken more, JBL's hats or the announce table?
Hat. Give me the hat.
So the curb stomp by Rollins. He stands over Ambrose as SmackDown goes off the air. What do we give match of the night to?
I'll say the main event. Yeah, Orton Ambrose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Markeia, what say you?
I'm saying Dolph Rollins.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's between those two.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. And Dolph, he's so fluid, and just that total punishment match. It like not only was a good match, but it was a great storyline, like a great plot to say to all the other wrestlers. So I think something else could come of that where they're like, whoa. So yeah, that's my one.
As much as I want to say Big E and Rusev,
Yeah,
as much as I want to say that one,
tough.
Yes.
it's tough.
Tough.
Both of those are phenomenal. I'm going to go Ambrose Orton. I loved the Rollins Ziggler match also. Ambrose Orton, I felt maybe told a little more of a story.
And the surprise finish at the end,
Yeah.
I thought was what put it over for me.
That was like the that little extra icing.
Yeah.
That was on there. But yeah, overall, SmackDown, we had those couple big matches, a couple spots where we were just like, wait, what happened? Mi corazón. It hurts as I'm hearing this music again. Oh, Del Rio.
I'll miss those cars.
Yeah, well, we've missed the cars for a couple years now.
Okay, yeah, I've missed the cars.
How big of a draw on the independent scene can Del Rio and Ricardo be right now?
It depends on how long you milk it. I was talking this out with Mark Donica. We were like, it's got to at least be a couple of months, you know. And I'm sure there's gonna be somebody, especially in Mexico. Now there's a place that this could really work.
Oh, that's gonna sell out like 100,000 seat stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it's a done deal. The question is when.
All right. Well, we'll see and we'll find out as we get closer and closer to SummerSlam. We got a lot of big things happening next week. Besides all our AfterBuzzes, we got a lot of SummerSlam reports that'll be coming your way. You'll see more about that over the next week. And then, of course, next Sunday we'll be at SummerSlam at Staples Center, AfterBuzz SummerSlam. So much craziness happening over the next 9 days from now. Madness indeed, out in this area. So you can constantly talk to us and get updates and ask us questions. In the meantime, Hobo, where can people reach out to you?
At True Hobo, ProWrestlingTees.com/Hobo, YouTube.com/SoapboxCarTV, where they can watch me beat your partner this week. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, but who's still up in the best of 5 series?
It doesn't matter.
Oh, no.
The Sega Powers won this week.
As much as I despise you right now, you got to get that shirt up online for people to buy.
Hey, if you want to buy it, just comment and we'll think about making it available.
Markeia, how can people reach out to you?
You guys can find me on Twitter at Markeia McCarty. That's MarKeia. And if you are interested in live comedy, this Saturday, my group, Doctor Who Live, will be performing in Hollywood at IO West. I will actually be the doctor for that particular show. And then also on Tuesday, I have the 1-year anniversary of the Lady Invitational. It's a show that I host and perform in. We'll have a lineup of improvs and comedians, including Stephanie Weir and Rosika Mather from MTV. So if you'd like to do that, that is at Straight Jacket Society in Hollywood on Tuesday at 8.
All right, and you can follow me on Twitter at CRosieVOC. And actually, also on Tuesday, after you check out Markeia at her show, you can come see me perform. I'm going to be performing at Playhouse West in North Hollywood. I'm actually doing, it's just called Blank and Christian, which pretty much I'm going to pick some random person in the audience and do a 2-person improv show with.
Could that be me?
It could if you go, it could be you. That would be a show to see.
Tempting, actually.
So if you're near, love to see you stop by there. And like I said, on Twitter, CRosieVOC. Thanks so much for tuning in this week. Thank you guys for filling in this week. For the Hobo and Markeia McCarty, I'm Christian Rosenberg. We will see you later.
From executive producers Markeia McCarty, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later. Viva Del Rio!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.